In today's fight news, we start off with former UFC middleweight champion Luke Rockhold coming off an impressive knockout victory at this past weekend's Karate Combat 45 main event. During his post-fight celebration, the former champion took to the mic to call out former foe Lyoto the Dragon Machida. The two have history as Rockhold owns a submission win over Machida in the UFC octagon. On a recent episode of the Pound for Pound podcast, former UFC champ Henry Cejudo says he can see rivals Alex Pereira and Israel Adesanya facing off again if Adesanya is successful at regaining the middleweight championship against Dricus du Plessis. With Pereira being the current UFC light heavyweight champion and Adesanya possibly becoming the middleweight champion again, Cejudo says he can see the two facing off in a champ versus champ scenario, 185 versus 205. Speaking of champs, the current UFC lightweight champion Islam Makhachev recently did an interview with MMA Junkie's Mike Bond, in which he was asked how he sees his upcoming matchup against Dustin the Diamond Poirier playing out. The Dagestani champ jokingly said that he sees Poirier going for his signature guillotine choke, stating, "He will try to give me guillotine, and I will take his back and choke him." Ahead of his upcoming UFC 301 title shot, flyweight contender Steve Erceg was recently seen getting advice from former featherweight kingpin Alexander Volkanovski in regards to fighting in enemy territory. MMA standout Paul Hughes recently spoke with Sky Sports and disclosed why he decided to sign with the PFL over the UFC. Hughes stated that he will be competing in the 2025 and the 2026 $1 million PFL tournaments, as well as having 3 fights in 2024 outside of the tournaments. Lastly, we finish off with some fight announcements. Asu Alimbayev will take on Jose Johnson at UFC Vegas 93 on June 15th. On the June 13th UFC event, Gabriel Bonfim will take on Ange Losa. Loic Radshabov will take on Trey Ogden at UFC Vegas 94 on July 20th. Josh Van posted on his social media that his matchup with Sue Madarji is off for UFC 302. Flyweight contender Mohamed Mokaev responded to this cancellation, stating, "June 22nd in Saudi, let's go Joshua Van, or Joshua 2, doesn't matter." Lastly, PFL welterweight Cedric D will be taking on Derek Anderson in a co-main event bout on the Bellator Champion Series on May 17th in Paris, France. Dombe recently announced that he signed a multi-year contract extension with the organization.